Hey, 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 rock and roll. We're here to stay. How you doing? Welcome to the Scorched Earth podcast for Friday, April 4th, 2025. God, 10 weeks into the Trump administration. Seems like 10 years in Abu Ghraib. And it feels like we're getting waterboarded every second of the May. Hey, if you could, welcome friend and foe, sinner and saint. If you could, hit that like and subscribe button. I appreciate it. We're getting a couple more people. It's building. It's building. We're going to take off here. Hopefully it's not like the space shuttle or that last SpaceX rocket, right, that detonated in the universe just above. Got a lot to talk about. Really, the biggest thing in the world is tariffs, but I'm going to talk about my day. I'm lucky enough to see my parents every day, and today I took my mom to the doctor's appointment, and she goes to a doctor about 25 miles away from her. So my mom is really fastidious about it, and I noticed this problem the other day with super producer Stacy. They're both very, very detail-oriented, very meticulous, and I was talking to Stacy, and we were doing some stuff on the show, and her doctor called and said, hey, you got an appointment on Wednesday? And she goes, no, I got it on Thursday. And they said, no, it's Wednesday. So, of course, Stacy, she still has the card, the one person who still has the card. And she showed me later, and she goes, yeah, it says Thursday at whatever, 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I was like, oh, okay. So my mom says, okay, I got an 11:30 doctor's appointment. We go all the way out there, and they say, no, it's on Friday. And my mom goes, I got the email. And the lady's like, well, no, I got it into the computer. She goes, you can go back there and see if they'll fit you in. My mom's like, yeah, I've been through this. My mom's been going to doctor's appointments for literally 80 years. And you know where that's going. It's like fighting the cable company. Yeah, not really going to happen. Not a high chance of success, right? So we get in the car. I said, Mom, let's just go back there and see if they'll fit you in. She goes, no. At that point, the dam had broken. Mom wasn't going back there. I don't care if they ran out a welcome mat, brought out espressos, whatever, a latte. She wasn't going back there. My dad, that's how you stay married 65 plus years. He's just sitting there going, yep, whatever your mom wants to do, let's go. Let's go get some lunch. I'm like, yeah, okay. There we go. I am taking my parents to Vegas for a little vacation next week. This may be one of my last podcasts. God bless. All right. Like I said, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you'd like, leave some comments. Seems like we got some feisty little kids out there. Little trolls out there like to fight with me. Don't you fret. I'm coming back at you. Nothing I love better than maybe a nice little fight. Right? All right. Taking no prisoners, telling no lies. It is the Scorched Earth podcast. We're going to start out with a clip from one of my favorite movies. Let's see what you think.
Targeting me won't get their money back. I knew the mob wouldn't go down without a fight, but this is different. They've crossed the line.
You crossed the line first, so you squeezed them.
Now, everybody out there, I want you to imagine we're Batman and Donald Trump is the Joker. Sometimes art imitates life.
Hammered them to the point of desperation. And in their desperation, they turned to a man they didn't fully understand.
That's MAGA.
Criminals aren't complicated, Alfred. We just need to figure out what he's after.
With respect, Master Wayne, perhaps this is a man you don't fully understand either.
Doesn't that really encapsulate Trump? I mean, literally, how far ahead of time was this movie?
A long time ago, I was in Burma. My friends and I were working for the local government. They were trying to buy the loyalty of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones.
You don't think anybody in the Trump administration would be susceptible to bribes, would you? Tries to muffle the laugh.
But their caravans were being raided in a forest north of Rangoon by a bandit. So we went looking for the stones. But in 6 months, we never met anyone who traded with him. One day, I saw a child playing with a ruby the size of a tangerine. The bandit had been throwing them away.
So why steal them?
Well, because he thought it was good sport, because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned.
Let's make sure. I really like this clip, but when we're saying some men can't be bought, that definitely doesn't apply to Trump and his administration.
Or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Amen, Alfred. Boy, you got that right. You got that right, buddy. That says it all. Isn't that where we are with our buddy Trump? I'm telling you right now. Now, Trump put in these new tariffs, and the world doesn't know how to deal with them. We thought they were all bluffing. We thought it was just what it was. Let's get a little update from former financial guru Jim Cramer, who still is a financial guy, but after 2008, I'm not sure how much credence I put into what he has to say. But let's go to little Aaron Burnett, his former lackey.
Breaking news, Vice President J.D. Vance just saying the Trump administration is, quote, feeling good about Trump's tariffs.
Feeling really good. You know, Liberation Day means liberating us from our money.
We're feeling good. Look, I frankly thought in some ways it could be worse in the markets because this is a big transition. You saw the president said earlier today.
Let's remember this is the guy who critiqued childless cat ladies. Yeah, a lot of smart words coming out of this guy's mouth.
Like a patient who was very sick. We did the operation, and now it's
very sick. We had the leading economy in the world by 10%.
time to make the patient better, and that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, we are. Hey, the patient's got a sprained ankle. Let's amputate.
All right, this is Jim Cramer from CNBC's Mad Money, who has never been a free trader, right? So he's not just out here to go against them. He's saying the White House doesn't seem to understand what it's trying to do and that the reciprocal tariffs are not reciprocal and could do tremendous damage. So out front out, Jim Cramer of CNBC's Mad Money and Squawk on the Street, all on
Jesus, man, she's going down his whole resume. I mean, is she going to propose to him? Look at Jim. He's like a little school kid. He's like, oh, thank you, Aaron. Thank you. I'm glad everybody forgot in 2008 when the stock market was crashing and I told everybody to hold on to their stock so I could liquidate mine.
CNBC, an incredible network that I will love to the day I die.
Just so great to be here with you, Aaron.
You know, maybe we could just pause the video so they can just make out.
So, and I'm so thrilled that we're able to talk. Okay, so what the heck is going on?
Well, I'm let down because I'm not a free trader. I'm a fair trader. Always have been from the days when you worked with me at CNBC.
Yep.
And what I was hoping was that a coordinated thing where if you are charging us 20%.
Look at that on the board. The Dow went down 1,600 points. You know, 1,600 points, worse than 5 years. COVID. Remember COVID and how scared everybody was when that came out? Let that just sink in for a second. You know, we're dealing with the party that was screaming about high prices under Biden. Money is still money, whether you have to spend more or the money you have goes away. And believe me, the money is going away.
We charge you 20. Instead of a car where we're only making you pay 2.5 and you're not letting us in, we try to get things better. But
so on a specific thing, you go, if they're 10 on a car, you
Christ's sake, man, these guys are almost as vapid as Trump was in the Rose Garden. I have no clue what they're saying, but I want to agree with it.
I don't know, but I went deep on the numbers today, and the numbers did not make any sense. And I was actually.
I was doing like bananas in Vietnam. You did Cramerica.
Well, I just said, it's one of these things where if I'm doing 100 billion and you're letting me do 10 billion and I'm letting you do 100 billion, there was a way to be able to make it work. But the numbers that they did, and they had this ridiculous. I mean, that was the chart that they had with the mathematical equation. I mean, are you kidding me? How about just like
it looked like an Einstein?
I know. How about the fact that it was just wrong?
Yeah.
And what bothered me, Aaron, was that they really did over and over again. The president said, listen, it's going to be reciprocal. So you do it, we do it. And that was going to be so good. And I really believed in it. And I feel like a sucker tonight.
Yeah. You know, I agree with you there, Jim. I agree with you there. You're 100% right. You know, we all feel like suckers. Well, my party doesn't, because we didn't buy into it the last election. How good is Joe Biden looking these days? You know, I don't know. Looking pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Oh, man. I'm telling you, the good old days of Joe Biden. What is Kamala Harris thinking, too, tonight? She's thinking, man, I lost to this cat? Yeah. Sometimes life ain't fair. Today alone, this is Thursday, like I say. I tape it the night before. In one day, after his announcement in the Rose Garden, and I'm going to tell you where they made a really terrible mistake. They think they're smart, but that really is, it's vanity. They should have announced it on Friday to let the markets ease out over 2 days. The markets got tomorrow, which is actually Friday, still to go. They lost $2.5 trillion from U.S. stocks. And I got a great friend, Bill. Him and I have talked about stocks for years. And we're on different sides of the political spectrum. And he always says, well, it'll come back. Well, yeah, in a theoretical sense, that's right. But this is money that's gone that is not coming back. And what I mean is, let's look at the 2008 recession/depression that another Republican caused that seems to be in their DNA. And home prices at 2008 dropped so precipitously, they didn't even get back to the 2008 level till 2015. Now, you can argue, well, in 2017, my $300,000 house was worth $350,000. Well, yeah, but, it was stagnant for 7 years there. I mean, it's not even stagnant. It went down. And if you needed that money in 7 years, you got the gut punch, right? You got it in the face. Yeah. At the end of the day, these people who have 401ks, who have annuities, who have things like that are tied to the stock market, which is a vast majority of them, they're screwed. I have a 401k. Okay? That thing, I don't even want to look at it because I'm going to puke up blood. Right? This whole, well, it don't matter, You want to be like Howard effing Lufnick, that human prick. Oh, it don't matter. You can get the money next month or the month after. Well, yeah, if I'm a billionaire, yeah, it probably doesn't matter. But if I'm somebody who needs to have money to pay my bills and the light and the this and the that, yeah, it could be a real inconvenience. Why do you think people end up living in their cars? Because of idiots like you and Trump. So I'm going to go a little different way. We're going to talk about tariffs in a second and about Trump's history with tariffs and what they've done to this country, because they are still preaching that things are all going to be good once we go through a little pain. Forget the prices are going to be lower on day one. That was just campaign stuff to get your vote. Okay, and he got all the MAGA votes, and he got the independent votes, and he got them. Okay? He got them. And he got us. I signed up for a Bernie rally. Week and a half. Coming to LA. Can't wait. This Saturday, I'm going to be going to an Indivisible rally, which is a protest against Doge and Musk. If it's in your area, I highly recommend you go and participate. So let's talk about the stock market under Republicans versus Democrats. Now, the common perception is the Republicans are better for the economy, but spoiler alert, if John's bringing it up, that's probably not where we're going. Ding, donk, ding, donk. All right. Since its inception in 1957, the S&P 500, which, if you don't know, is Standard & Poor's, did a cross-reference of the 500 biggest companies across many different industries in America. Now, typically, in the S&P, they don't have tech companies. That's more of a NASDAQ thing. They created a separate stock exchange basically for tech. Not every company there is tech, but a vast majority of them. Apple, Google, Facebook are all over on NASDAQ, NVIDIA. But, you know, you have your own little ticker there, right? So, since the inception in 57, the S&P 500 has achieved a median annual return of 12.9% a year during Democratic presidencies and 9.9 during Republican presidencies. Seems like that's 3% more a year under the Democrat. I'm not that good with math, but I think I got that one right. The graphic includes all, well, you can't see the graphic, okay? Hey, I gave you 2 videos, okay? Damn, what am I, circus monkey? But it goes up to June of 2024. Of course, that doesn't include the last 2 months of the Trump circus show. Since 57, the S&P 500 has achieved one-year returns of 12.9 versus 9.9 for the Republicans. Based on that information, it seems pretty logical that the Democrats are better for the stock market. Now, let's talk about the last 2 economic crises we've had in this country. 2008, which literally we almost went into a depression. And it literally took that great President Obama 4 years to get us back on just even footing after Alan Greenspan and that crook, George Bush, almost tanked the entire world economy. Okay? Yeah, let's get out more fraudulent loans. Let's get rid of Dodd-Frank. Don't need any safety provisions with financial institutions. They'll do the right thing. Yeah, just watch the Big Short or Margin Call. You get a real good idea of how just effed up that whole thing was. And then we had a Democrat fix the economy, get it rolling. Then Trump came in. Wow, what did he leave us at the end of his term? 2020. GDP was down 16% for the year. Wow, great. He left us in the middle of a great recession. That's great, fantastic. Also, just totally destroyed the supply chains. Now, if you want to argue that he didn't really have a lot of say over what happened with COVID, okay, there's some validity there. There is. But he also had a $3 trillion stimulus package, which caused inflation that Biden had to deal with for the first 3 years of his administration because you were giving out money for not getting services. That's basically the starter, the napalm that gets inflation going. Okay? We don't need to get into all the macroeconomics of it. But, and I will say this, I agreed with Trump in that plan. Nancy Pelosi and him both crafted that plan. I wasn't a big fan of the PP&E loans, PP&P loans, to big businesses, but they had to pay the workers. It was good to keep the economy going, okay? Enough said. We can debate that on some other show. But another thing I want to talk about is Elon Musk is getting kicked out of the White House. I wish he was dragged by those hair transplants he's got, but okay. You know, maybe it'd be a little harder because he's on ketamine or whatever he is. And he talks about he's saved $1 trillion. Yeah, so I put a posting on my Facebook page. And if you haven't been to my Facebook page, comes John Thomas, Crestline, California, Lake Arrowhead. And I'll add you, maybe, if you're cool. But nobody can be as cool as me, right? Not a high bar, John, not a high bar. So I'm going to go through the presidents and their deficit spending. Let's start with Jimmy Carter. And it's almost crazy just to see these numbers. Jimmy Carter, in his 4-year term, added $25 billion to the debt. Nowadays, they add that literally in a day. I mean, Trump went $7 trillion in 4 years. His first term, $7 trillion in 4 years. I can't even imagine that math. Ronald Reagan added $74 billion. That seemed bad at the time, but just wait. They're just getting it all revved up now. George Bush, in 4 years versus Reagan's 8, added $102 billion. Love that. Love that Bush won. Like father, like son, as we'll see soon in 8 years. Bill Clinton reduced the deficit by $383 billion, leaving the budget in surplus when he left office. Oh, I remember when that man left office and they asked him, how long do you think this $380 billion is going to last? And he literally said, 15 years. Bush burned through it in the first year in his administration. George Bush, now we're starting to get to some numbers, added $1.54 trillion to the deficit in his 8 years. Now, it was 8 years. Look, I'm going to be as honest as I can. I'm a progressive. I'm a Democrat. But I got to call it what it was. It was 8 years, okay? So that basically is a $2 trillion swing from what Clinton did, okay? Barack Obama got the deficit down to $585 billion. He reduced it by $825 billion when he left office in 2016, right? Donald Trump added $7 trillion to the deficit. Yeah, that's a number. Now, Biden reduced the deficit at the end of his 4 years by $942 billion. Okay. Just some numbers out of Wikipedia. Okay? Don't get angry. Don't get angry. So we're going to talk about the last time Trump really put in some tariffs. And that was the first act of the clown circus. And just to give you some numbers of where we were today on the Dow Jones, like you saw, fell over 1,600 points, 1,679 to be exact. NASDAQ fell 6% of its total value in one day. Literally, if you kept it that rate in 3 weeks, they would be out of business. Worst day since 2020 and COVID. 5 years. So in 2018, Trump initiated tariffs on Chinese imports, prompting China to retaliate with tariffs on U.S. agricultural products. Now, wait for this. Including soybean, which was a death blow to the United States farmers and their soybeans. China was their biggest market. We were, at that time, the number one exporter of soybeans in the world, and 75% of our soybeans went to China. China started buying, immediately pivoted with the tariffs. And remember this is very crucial. They didn't keep paying the increased price. They said, F you, we're going to go to Brazil. Brazil became, within 6 months, the number one exporter of soybeans in the world. They still are. They still are. And it has devastated the soybean farmers of America to the extent they still haven't recovered. Right? I'm giving you some good stuff here. You got to thank me later. Put it in the comments. That's what I'm saying. So, it was our biggest market. It got devastated. So, Bloomberg reports after the tariffs went into effect, within 6 months, the prices dropped 33%. That's what happened to soybeans. Now, the U.S. government provided significant financial aid to farmers, and most farmers are still trying to recover. At the end of the day, they got to give them subsidies. So when he says, okay, we put tariffs in, he accomplished literally the two worst things possible. They quit buying the products, so we got no tariffs, and then we had to subsidize the people he almost ran out. Well, he did run out of business. They had no one to sell it to. Grain silos, I was watching videos, grain silos were overflowing. USDA, Economic Research Service, issued a report in 2019 showing a 76% reduction in the value of U.S. exports to China from 2017 to 2018. That's basically soybeans. And estimating the trade war cost U.S. agriculture, wait for it, over $27 billion. That was a hit straight to agriculture. Soybeans accounted for 71% of those losses. I'm doing some research here for you. Okay, I'm not just a pretty face. No. Don't be mesmerized. You're going to like and subscribe. You're going to like and subscribe. You know, the farmers and the ASA, which is their farm association, had worked for 40 years to develop the China market, and it was destroyed literally in 6 months. And it still hasn't recovered. China has still put the middle finger up, and they did make some inroads under the Biden administration, but for the most part, it's over. You know, we're going to be talking about the tariffs for a long time, and we keep thinking that he's going to pull off on his bluff, but it really seems like with Peter, don't drop the soap, Navarro, and the other idiots in there. You know, I heard Jim Cramer today say Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who is backing these tariffs, is a smart guy. And I thought, well, maybe he's smart, but when he opens his mouth on tariffs, he's pretty goddamn stupid, you know? And at the end of the day, monkey see, monkey do. I don't know if you've ever, you know, heard the story of the scorpion and the frog, but it applies here. And then basically the story is, you know, the scorpion's on the shore and the frog's in the water, and the scorpion says to the frog, hey, man, can you just take me across the river? And the frog goes, well, yeah, I can, but, you know, if I put you on my back, you might sting me, and then I'm going to die. And the scorpion says, why would I do that? If I sting you, then you die, I'm going to drown too. Frog thinks about it and says, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So they get about halfway across, and the scorpion just rears back and stings him. And as they're both shifting below the waves and they're drowning, the frog says to him, why? And the scorpion looks at him and goes, it is who I am. It's my nature. And that's exactly what it is. Everybody is folding into Trump's nature. And let me tell you something. It's the guy who went bankrupt multiple times. This guy, how many people do you know who bankrupted a casino? Casino. How do you lose with a casino? Come on. Yeah. God, I'm going to Vegas next week, and let me tell you something. I'm going to be adding to their financial sheets. Let me tell you, they're going to be in the black for a long time, right? But that's where we are. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm seeing it, and on one level, I kind of admire that he is totally selling out for what he believes in. But at the end, the other part is, this is so idiotic. This is so against what everybody else is telling him. I'm wondering, why are you doing this? Why are you committing suicide, seppuku? That's what the Ronin do, disembowelment. I mean, this is what this guy is doing. He's going to take down the whole party. And look, I want to win. I want to get control of this country. I want to get it back on an even footing with the Democrats and the progressives. But, man, I don't want to wipe out people's life like George Bush did. You know, 2 million more homeless happened between 2008 and 2010. You know, nobody ever talks about that. How many people are going to go homeless because of this goddamn idiot? I hope it's nobody out there that I know. I don't, even if I don't know you, I don't want to see it for one human being. All right, that's our show for today. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. I love you all. Don't be sad. Be happy, because we got to share this time together. We're in this together, and we are going to win. I promise you we're going to win. We're on the side of right. We're on the side of empathy. We're on the side of morality, and we're fighting for democracy. All right, I love you all. You be good, and I'll see you soon.